Try it.
Okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, we're live.
Good morning, guys, and welcome to today's episode of Market Check, brought to you by Because Bitcoin and hosted on YouTube. I am Snorlax. You guys also know me as Tommy, and I am joined by Max and Tucker. We're going to see if we can get Dr. Outlook on here later in the show, but if not, no biggies, guys. Excited to break down everything that we got going on this week, and yeah, I mean, I had a great weekend. I hope you guys did as well. My in-laws were in town, got to hang out with them, ate a lot of pizza, played some golf. It was my first time playing with my father-in-law, who is a very, very good golfer. So it was a bit intimidating, but I think I exonerated myself pretty well, thankfully. But yeah, no, I mean, we opened the week, obviously. Bitcoin didn't really do anything over the weekend, right? But, the way it was framed at the very end of last week, where we had this extremely aggressive pump driven by an SEC ruling in XRP's favor that led to this, speculative frenzy to end last week. And as these speculative frenzies tend to have, they also, what is the saying? Like these speculative delights have violent endings or something like that. That was pretty much what happened. I mean, people who long the top on Thursday night or on Friday, or they had a very difficult Friday, right? As Bitcoin basically retraced its entire pump. Altcoins didn't quite do the same, but they gave back a lot of gains. And if you were trading alts on leverage, you probably were forced out of your position if you hadn't closed already. Or worst case, you round tripped that. I mean, I had a few friends, guys, who round tripped their gains almost in full. And they were, some friends who were talking very loudly in private chats. It was kind of a signal to de-risk a bit. On that pump, even though I really wanted to believe, that we were going to 33 or 34K on that pump. I thought it was pretty telling that you had altcoins just drastically outperforming Bitcoin while Bitcoin was kind of stuck at range highs. But the flip side to that is equities have opened pretty green across the board. It's a huge week for equities as it's July OPEX. Anytime you have an OPEX in equities, it's usually time to pay attention, especially the ones not the first month of the quarter, but especially the final month of the quarter. Those OPEXs are the ones that you want to pay attention to most. But these they kind of open up these periods of or for potential downside purely because of the mechanics around volatility and as it relates to hedges coming off the board. So, let's see what we get in this week with equities. I'm pretty intrigued because I've had this date marked out in July for possible weakness. And if we do see weakness in equities, I would imagine that crypto is probably not too far behind, which seems particularly notable given that crypto is sitting on, as the title would suggest, it's sitting on a cliff's edge. If we see downside in equities, what does that mean? Are we trading 28s, 27K before trading 32, 33K later this year? Does it double top the market? I think they're both interesting questions that we're going to ponder on this show. But I'm looking at equity land. It doesn't seem like to start the week, things have diverted too much from the mean that we've seen thus far, right? Equity indices are in general just kind of grinding higher. And at least, most applicable to what we were kind of seeing the last 2 weeks, you're seeing small and mid caps continue to pop off, at least looking at some of the ones on my watch list. But that's quite the fractal there, Tucker.
Yeah, that
Oh,
really
Just
is.
man.
playing, just playing around.
Oh man. We're gonna break down some scenarios for you guys today, but I'm gonna pass it over to Max to see what he's thinking. Max, how was your weekend, man? And how are you kind of digesting this recent Bitcoin dump that we've had, as well as this July equity OPEX?
Sure. And before I get into all that, Tucker, I have to make one request. I didn't fit the Zoom right today. We got to keep your tickers up on the right side today, my friend. I know.
Gotcha.
Yeah, there we go. Perfect. My weekend was good. My weekend was great. I actually I saw some family, of course, spent some time with my wife and my son. He's just over 3 weeks old now. He's getting so big so fast. He's already trading perps, man. We got him. We got him a Bybit account, and he's in their VIP diamond tier for them already. Yeah, he's a Bybit whale, so he's doing very well. But my weekend was great. Spent some time at one of the 10,000 lakes in my home state, so that was fun. I didn't really do much trading this weekend because for the risk of coming off as not humble, we literally perfectly executed last week that little pump and dump. Um, I was longing Bitcoin at 30.3. We talked about that on the show. We gave that out in the Discord in real time. So, we were all overwhelmingly long. Like everybody on the team, everybody in the community was just longing the crap out of like the value area low on Bitcoin at 30.3. We squeezed up to 31.8. I was able to cover at 31.4 and change. So that was not bad. Could have been a little bit better, but really good. And then, we dumped, and I was literally out of everything except for my OX bag, which is truthfully kind of my make it bag. I couldn't be more bullish on that ecosystem from what I know about it and discussions I've had with, really key community members and team members over at OpenX. So I didn't have any crypto exposure. Like I sold Pepe damn near the top. Tommy, I was blanking on his name. Who was the guy? Andrew Kang, right?
Dang. Yeah.
Kang, dude. I couldn't remember this morning on the Discord call when we were talking with the community pre-market. I was just blanking on his name. I hadn't finished my coffee yet, but Andrew Kang starts tweeting about Pepe at 18 and change. We pump up, and I'm up a bunch on my Pepe bags because we bought it back at like 15 and change. So I was like, that's it, man. Like it's getting really frothy out there. Everybody's so excited about Bitcoin and ETH breaking out. It seems like it's it's a foregone conclusion that we're going to 35K. No, I didn't like it, man. The froth right into the very end of the week didn't feel right to me. Big CT accounts that have been known, no disrespect. I get the game. I got mad respect for these guys. They're trading huge size. What do you expect them to do? Like, what do you expect these CT whales to give you a soft pitch? No, absolutely not. They need exit liquidity, especially in these conditions. Somebody like Andrew Kang probably owned $5 million of Pepe. How do you think he's going to get out of that position? By not engineering liquidity through smaller accounts on CT? Don't hate him. Don't hate the player, hate the game. If you're looking to any of these guys for, freebies, it ain't going to happen. All right. So I recognized the game. I saw what was happening. I see some big sells starting to come in at, range highs there. Exactly. Thank you, Tucker, for that beautiful TA you have drawn there. And, we dumped it. We dumped everything like damn near the highs of the day, highs of the session. So I start getting notifications, things are tanking. It was somewhat obvious to me, especially looking back now. Execution was great on our end, but it's not going to be that easy. Like if we do go to 33 to 37K, something like that, I don't think you're going to get like a free long without the potential of getting shaken out. And I think I'm still leaning towards higher at this point. I don't think that the show is over. I don't think that the casino is done, but I'm definitely being a little bit cautious here. And, I posted our last recorded video on our YouTube was about a 20-minute video of me explaining my high time frame bias on Bitcoin as it pertains to stable coins and, how we're watching things ebb and flow from volatile crypto assets potentially back into stable coins at these levels. And it's a slow process, but in my opinion, still, this is not the time to position for new golden bull market to all-time highs. So in the short term, I'm just being cautious. I'm quick in and out of positions. But the levels are pretty clean. Like looking at a lot of these, these tickers, specifically crypto, I think that things look pretty clean. Like market structure still intact, in my opinion, even though this was a very aggressive dump. It was perps trying to force a breakout to 33 to 35K, and they got stuffed. And there was a lot of OI that got flushed across the board, and we're basically back to where we were before. Okay, so we just reset. We're still holding the value area low of this range, just like Tucker's showing. I don't think it looks bad. I don't think it looks unhealthy. It looks a little bizarre. I would say that it looks a little bit bizarre, but I don't think there's really any reason for serious concern here. I'm hoping I don't take any trades today. I would like to let Monday's range form first, and potentially then look for moves up to like 33K. I'd say if we lose this value area low, I'm probably looking at 28.5, truthfully. I'm going to be a little bit more cautious, but that was a pretty thin move that we had up, basically from like 26 to like the current range. There's definitely some inefficiencies that we can come back to and still keep higher time frame market structure relatively intact. So look, I want to just hammer this point home, and then I'll pass it off to Tucker for a bit and we can have some conversation. But just because we're in this tight little range and we've been here for a long time doesn't mean that the range is about to imminently break. There's been times throughout Bitcoin's history where we've been in a ranging environment for 3 months, like a 10% range for 3 months, even longer potentially. Yeah, that's a prime example, right? You get these periods of just like really tight consolidation and then an explosive move. So, I mean, truthfully, I still am in the camp that the longer the amount of time that we spend up here chopping, the more bullish it is. I think that the longer we spend up here, the less likely a BART becomes. But again, things can change quickly. So I think if we continue to range up here and just play the range, be bullish at range lows, be bearish at range highs, or at least be cautious at range highs. Don't marry a bag here. I still think this is the condition to, truthfully, not diamond hand, to paper hand a trade. You get up, you're making a little bit of money, take some profits, or at least partial TP and then stops at break even because it's predatory. Look at these moves. This is a predatory range. Every time we move towards range lows, oh my gosh, 27K. Every time we move towards range highs, it's broadening ever so slightly. Okay, we're going to 33, 34K. So just playing the range for right now. This doesn't really change anything higher time frame for me. 6 to 9 months out, I'm pretty bearish. I'd say 2 weeks to 5 weeks out, I'm relatively bullish. So those are some thoughts for me. But yeah, Tucker, what's going on, man? How you feeling?
Feeling good, feeling good. I think there's probably some better setups in altcoin land than there is with Bitcoin here. It's just I agree, like you just play the range, right? Like if you just long you just long the lows and like probably I'd say short like 31s and above. Like if you just have a decent stop on, like that's literally how you've had to do this. Like, this would have got you and this would have got you probably. But besides that, like that's been the regime. It does remind me a lot of this down here where it's, they'll just kind of bore you to death. The difference though is there was much less like social interest in crypto and Bitcoin down here than there is up here. So I don't know. I'm not gonna try to speak on which way it breaks. You're literally at the POC right here. Like I did trade some Matic and some Link over the weekend, but like if you were trying to trade Bitcoin over the weekend, like what is this? Like, dude, that is a nightmare. So yeah, I think there's some better setups in altcoin land for sure. I know Wabi's been playing LDO. I remember Snorlax was telling me to buy some LDO right down here, and I didn't do it. I had some profits from CFX, and I thought about rolling them into LDO right here, and I didn't do it. But what a move.
Tommy hit a great spot trade on LDO.
Yeah. Did
that
you
was a
buy
nice one.
1.9s, Tommy, or where'd you get it?
Yeah, I bought 1.9, man. I was in
Yeah.
I was in very minimal drawdown on that play.
Dude, Wabi
then I
kind of
saw-
called
I
it out.
sold
Wabi
0.37.
painted it clearly. He said if LDO is under $2, he's viewing that as Ethereum under 200 before last cycle. That's his mindset around LDO. So it's like it could go a little bit lower, it could deviate, but look, don't fade Wabi on these plays, man. Like he's got a really like astute and holistic outlook on like what these projects are and what they can be. And
Yeah.
he's been killing it all year. So when he says like don't fade Lido under 2, he's like every time we get under 2, look what happens.
There it is.
He's been right, man.
Yeah. Every time you get under 2, you just don't want to pull one of those, but Yeah, I think at
And when
this
I
point,
get confluence of Wabi and Tommy both being bullish under 2, forget about it, man. That's my never fade signal.
yeah, yeah. So between those, and I think OP as well. Um, I remember I had a chart. I was like trying to short OP up here. And obviously, like they did not want you to be able to short it up here. Like I think they came and got me at some point up here, but just a nightmare to try to short. But yeah, I mean, I think did it pump harder than pretty much anything else? I guess Soul. Let's look at Soul real quick.
By the way, Tucker, draw those equal highs up there at like 40 before the FTX breakdown. I'd like that level up there. If we can get a move on Bitcoin, that's a perfect set of equal highs right there, man. I'm watching that level intently.
Yeah.
That was when Google that last pump. So the right, yeah, that high right there. That was when Google announced that they were running a Solana validator, and then we just got rugged from FTX like immediately after that. But
Yeah.
I like that level a lot. Like I actually think like this level, just considering that Bitcoin's down at value area low in this tight consolidation, if we're gonna play beta and chase beta in these markets, I don't think Sol is done yet. Not that we can't go lower, over the next 6 to 9 months, but I could see $40 for Sol in the not too distant future. I think there's a lot of liquidity up there.
Yeah, if you
Man, I
could
like
hold,
so we were talking about that this weekend, like because I think it's not that I have a lot of conviction that Sol is going to come back, but I do think there's a lot of opportunity in Sol DeFi. I mean, they're basically starting from square one, right? They have to completely rebuild DeFi because it was previously just literally a Sam Bankman's bank, where he would just take emissions from these protocols and immediately dump them out, and he held most of the supply anyway. So, I mean, they're farmed to zero tokens. I'm curious. I don't know what Sol DeFi looks like necessarily right now. I mean, I've done a little bit of research. I'm still planning on, I loaded up a wallet over the weekend. I haven't, done any exploring yet, but that's a priority of mine right now, guys. Is it's immersing myself in the Sol ecosystem more so because I feel like there's going to be a lot of opportunity there. And I guess, you can get exposure to Sol as well while doing this. I'm not going to break down my strategies, publicly, but, we were kind of talking about them over the weekend.
We were, and I mean, look, people rag on Sol. I think it's a very it's a very efficient chain, and I don't think they're out of the clear quite yet, but I wouldn't count it out. And if Sol goes through this revitalization process, and maybe they get a new face, there was a lot of opportunities on Sol last cycle, and I'm certainly watching it, and I will continue to watch it. The big question for me is as we approach the Bitcoin halving in 2024, does it make more sense to explore Sol DeFi or some of these other newer projects that are coming out? That's the only thing. Not that Sol won't perform well, but would I rather tie up a portion of my capital in newer projects that are sort of like the new version of Sol? So I'm not sure. That's my only reservation.
I've
yeah,
been thinking about it in this way, Max. I have a set of capital that I'm likely to allocate into Ethereum as kind of like a transaction currency for the bull run. When I do, get truly bullish that we're about to see parabolic uptrend, you'll flip your stables into something like the base currency, and Solana can kind of be a beta of that beta, right?
Yeah.
It's like when you're ready to go risk on, you can start transacting in some of these layer one or these base tokens, right?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I mean, I enjoyed playing around on Radium last cycle. I had all that stuff on my daily watch list, that entire Radium ecosystem and some of the farming, and it was fun, man, for sure. It was fun to explore and poke around that, and I felt a sense of insulation because you had FTX, backing them and building and innovating on Sol. But, I think truthfully to see something like we saw last cycle with Sol, you're going to need somebody else to step up and, do something with it. But I mean, I'm all for it. Like, I think Sol's going to pump again for sure.
Yeah, no, it definitely will. That's probably what I want to see if it stays bullish in the short term.
One
Well, that-
chart I'd like to look at too, Tucker, is AVAX. I feel like AVAX is maybe like Sol is leading AVAX a little bit. Market structure looks somewhat comparable. I could see AVAX taking a stab at like low 20s for sure.
Yeah, as you can see, I was getting real nitty gritty on AVAX, like on like Wednesday, I think.
Weren't you and Tommy
let's-
up late
let's
just
zoom
like
out a little
scalping
bit.
AVAX or something?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes, we were.
it was a great time. We were like in here in this candle, like scalping.
Zooming out a bit, what do you see with AVAX, guys? Because like on the higher time frames, I actually think it looks kind of pumpy, truthfully.
Yeah.
And maybe we just get like this dead cat bounce across the Sol Luna AVAX, ecosystem before this is all said and done.
Yeah.
There's a spot bid on AVAX that I'm paying attention to for
Where's
sure.
it coming from?
I don't know. I didn't look at the exchange. Just been seeing that there's a spot bid on it.
I don't know, man. You could probably set something up here. You could probably do it.
Just drag that to like $200. That looks good.
Yeah, maybe these highs, $20.
Are those equal highs up there, Tucker? Yes,
Yeah.
sir. That's the Sol Fractal, man.
Wow.
Yep.
Man.
That's it right there, man. We're going to see Sol blow off to 40, AVAX 22, 23, 24.
It's a little 10R trade. Put your stop.
I don't know. I'll leave that to you and Tommy, man. I can't do those Titan validations. I'm more of a 3R kind of guy. The high R ones stress me out, man. I don't know. I feel like this is just too predatory with how liquid the books are right now. I don't know. It's a little tight for me.
This is the area across the board I think you want to see hold to see a squeeze. I think we can trade back to like 30.9, 31K, but if you lose this level, it's probably going to roll over very, very hard.
All right, so if we do roll over, let's talk about that scenario. Walk me through it, Tommy. Take me on a field trip.
Oh man. Well, I guess if we roll over, there's kind of two scenarios. Right? You have the scenario where Bitcoin just rolls over right here, which is possible. I don't know that I would favor that just because we haven't really flushed out the weekend shorts yet. That one, I mean, I don't know. That would, that rolls over. We start looking at downside targets of first, probably the range lows at like 29.3. But I think when this range gives out, it's going to be a bigger wick than that. I think it's a lot more likely that the wick will probably be, towards low 28s, possibly even, upper 27s on first go. And a lot of that will just be because, we built up so many longs at the bottom of this range that eventually when they do become forced sellers, I don't think the book is going to be full enough to handle, that much volume, that much liquidity hitting the market at the same time. So I think that would be a very, very bad sign for bulls. In the immediate term, we are talking about, in that case, probably a deeper pullback if we get it. And then there's the scenario where, we get it from 31K. We squeeze from around this level. We fill a lot of that inefficiency, which is mostly what we've been doing in the range thus far, right? I mean, you look at all those wicks higher that we've had that have, been to squeeze shorts out of the market. And what has been it, even though it has been a range, it does almost feel a bit systematic in the way that it has targeted shorts at the highs and it's targeted longs in the middle of the range. I think that's the key distinction here to me. But yeah, I mean, I would be looking for it to roll over either exactly right here, or I'd be looking at probably closer to 30.9, 31K. And if you break back above 31K, then I think, you're going to slow grind to a new high again. And you might just keep doing the same shenanigans that we've been doing, where you rinse all the longs after the move and you just continue to build up long liquidity at the bottom of this range before eventual fireworks, but we'll see what that looks like.
Tucker, I
Yeah,
like that
this
little.
looks
I
too
like
much
that.
like this.
Yeah, I like.
It
I was
looks
just gonna say, I like your little squiggle you just drew there. I could see that.
it looks so similar though.
It does. I mean,
It
I
looks so
agree with what
similar. I feel
Tommy
like they're
said.
not gonna.
I agree with what Tommy said and what you drew. It's like, why expect something different? You know, like why? I don't see a reason why. Tucker, one thing I'll ask. Yeah, let's do that first. That could be fun. That could be fun. If you could throw up a 6-month chart for me, um,
Yeah.
6 month on Bitcoin. Maybe clear all your drawings out and let's draw a 6 month. I want to point something out here.
But we want BLX.
No, that you could stay where you are. Yeah, you could stay where you're. Or that's fine too. That's fine. So see the huge drop that we had, like the mega drop, right? Early 2022.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, go back to that candle right there. There's an inverted 6-month FVG. So from the bottom of the previous candle, the one before there, the wick. Yep. So if you could draw like a box from that wick, and then nope to the down to the nope. So all the way down to the
Up, down.
yeah, right there to the top of that wick.
Yeah.
Or I'm sorry. So like the wick before the big blue candle to the left. Yeah, right there. So there's a 6-month FEG inversion right there. So I think that in theory should be like a hold zone. So now if you go to like the daily time frame and we look at that box, if we do lose this level, coming back into that box, like the mid range of that box, the 50 fib, that in theory should be a hold zone.
Yeah. Put on the 50.
Yeah, like that in theory, these higher time frame, FEG inversions typically hold pretty well unless it's ultra bearish. But yeah, I mean if we do something scummy up here and we end up doing a BART, that's probably where I end up looking for longs again. If we lose this value area in a serious manner. Before we continue, guys, it'd be great if you could just take one quick moment and like this video. Right now, we're sitting at 8 likes. We got 18 people watching. If you're enjoying the stream, please consider helping the channel and helping the stream. Just take one moment, quickly hit that thumbs up for us. I'm going to set a goal today of 20. It's a Monday. Things are a little bit slow so far. People are just kind of getting into their week, so we won't ask for too much. Let's see if we can get to 20 likes. You guys usually always far and away exceed my range high of 20 likes. But yeah, thanks for being here on your Monday, guys. We very much appreciate the continued support and interest in what we're doing. So yeah, if you can, please spare a thumbs up. Just take one moment, bang that thumbs up for us. But I like that level right there, Tucker. It's a really high time frame level, right? It's not like an immediate scalp area, but if we do start to see a breakdown, that's where I'm looking for a reaction. And there's a lot of confluence with like that previous demand zone. On the higher time frame, it would keep market structure very much so intact. If we came down sub 28 and bounced from there, we could certainly see a big spring off of that level. No question.
Yeah, because you'd want to see the continued, maybe something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I think we'll still eventually get the opportunity to buy Bitcoin under 25K again, though. I do believe that. I don't think we're going up only quite yet, but I guess I would like that to long, like if we did that, and then whatever.
Oh my goodness, whatever. Whatever.
Yeah, maybe not quite.
Whatever. Oh my goodness.
Maybe not quite that low. Maybe a higher low. Maybe a higher low. I like that.
The extended bear market scenario. That's the scenario people don't really want to talk about, man. Like, what happens if, yes, we do trade to almost 40K, but the result is, and I saw somebody pointed out on Twitter, if you were trading this like a 5-minute chart on a high time frame, if you zoom out to like the weekly or the monthly, it looks like it's going to trade lower and then round out and form like a longer accumulation, at least to me. just based on how strong the momentum was on that first run up we had in 2020, like we are still technically unwinding, let alone talking about a brand new bull market. I definitely don't see that.
Yeah.
The similarities between the 64K top and what just happened with like the FTX low, in my opinion, 64K is equal to 16K on Bitcoin. Charts strive for symmetry, and when we were back at 65 to 69K, nobody was thinking that we were going to like stop there. You know, nobody was thinking we were going to stop there. And I feel like we're going to get the same to the downside now, where again, charts love symmetry. I could see us actually sweeping that previous FTX low. I'm not sure what the catalyst would be, or even if we'd need one, but I still haven't ruled that out yet. Like a very prolonged multi-year bear market where everyone's expecting a run up, you know, into the 2024 halving. And typically like, you know, a quarter after the halving is typically when we start to see price really like get, you know, find some legs. I could see us being like kind of in the dumps for up to 6 months after the halving, and just being like, this will be looked back as just like a mega accumulation phase. Like right here is kind of like the range high of it. FTX low is the range low. And, you know, I could very much so see a scenario where we're just chopping and ranging between like 14 and 40. And then, you know, eventually we move on to 6-figure Bitcoin, but that could be 2025. You know, that could be Q2 2025 before we like seriously see like 45K Bitcoin or higher. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I like it.
It's just a longer cycle, you know, at least that's how I view it.
I mean, I've heard people contend that like we got the double top here, and so now we're gonna pull a 2017, but they forget that that would imply a nice little dump after the halving, which has never happened before, except for right here. So
I actually don't think that a prolonged bear market would be a bad thing. Um, I don't at all. You know, I think, you know, going off of like Ben Cowan's theories of lengthening cycles with diminishing returns, I think it's actually a good thing. It speaks to how the asset class is maturing. So I don't see it as a bad thing. I mean, of course, like it's more fun and it's easy to just see parabolic expansion in the asset class. But if Bitcoin can hold, you know, basically and just range between, let's just say 15 and 40K for 2 years, you know, as long as we don't breach 10K again, it's like it's ultra bullish for the asset class. I mean, the fact that a Bitcoin is worth, you know, for multiple years on end, um, you know, 15 to 40K, that's a huge accumulation zone. And like, I think that would actually be, we'd look back on that as a really, really good, healthy thing. So, I wouldn't mind it, you know, like, of course I'm eager to just like, let's buy some Bitcoin and send it to 100K. But I think like the cat's out of the bag with the halving, you know, it's been such a predictable thing where, there's going to be a lot of eyes on it, and I think a lot of people are going to be buying into Bitcoin pre-halving, anticipating a run-up. And I'd like those people that begin to accumulate at the end of this year to be a little bit frustrated and not price-based capitulate, but time-based capitulate, where they just sort of are like, oh man, I guess, you know, I guess the high time frame economic headwinds were just too much, or my Bitcoin's not moving. Forget it, man. I'm just not interested. And they bought Bitcoin. They buy Bitcoin end of Q3, early Q4, maybe, you know, Q1 of 2024 before the halving, and they dump it around the same price they bought it, you know, sometime in like Q2 2024, and then we go up second half of 2024. That would be ideal for me, high time frame.
yeah, I mean, I look at this and I'm like, how can we not think we're like here or here? Like, you know
Well,
what I mean?
look at the years before the halving, Tucker. That's a great point. It's typically the year before the halving, the first half goes to the bulls, the second half goes a little bit more towards the bear side. So there's a lot of high time frame indicators to me that are screaming risk off. It doesn't mean it has to be honored, but I don't think you get a freebie here.
Yeah, like
I think if
pre
you long the FTX low, you have you put in the work there, you're up 100% on the year. Congratulations. But I don't know if you have the luxury of just like aping into Bitcoin at 30K with some of these high time frame indicators that I'm watching, that are telling me it's time to higher time frame again, not 4 to 5 weeks out. I'm talking like 5 to 10 months out. I don't think you get a freebie, truthfully. I don't think it's that easy.
It's usually not. Market
yeah, I
has
mean,
a way of making it take as long as possible to get to the levels that you think are obvious.
yeah, that's
I like
true.
when I see people on Twitter too saying like, "Oh, like we'll never go back down to 20K. Like it's never going to happen. Bottom's in, BlackRock's here, like it's never happening." As soon as people like come to this unanimous conclusion that like something is never happening, it usually happens. Not to like overly simplify sentiment trading, but I don't know. I just think there's too much optimism out here, and like we're starting to just see people ignoring the bigger picture for short-term sentiment. So
Yeah, I mean, dude, that's I guarantee that's what people were saying right here. And it's like, okay, yeah, we didn't see 3K again. We saw 4K though. You know what I mean? It's like
dude,
we
what do you
could
think people were saying right there, Tucker? Like right at 14K on Bitcoin, you know?
they were saying we're going up here for sure. They were like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this because we did this.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't we? Right. And then we just nuked 50%. Oh wait, we're so back. We're so back, COVID. And then we ran up.
We're
Like
so back, COVID.
Well, you can see how low momentum those run-ups were too, relative to the ones that, immediately preceded them. Right.
which
Like the when you look at the run-up in 2019 versus the run-up that we had in 2017, and then you compare the run-up that we had right before 2020 to the one that we had in 2019. I mean, it got progressively weaker each run-up until eventually you got the COVID capitulation, and that formed the bull run.
What's so funny about the COVID capitulation too is how we perfectly backfilled all the high time frame inefficiencies and then went up. They
dude,
matter. They
I'm
do matter.
convinced. I'm
They do.
convinced we're in this right here.
Like you typically always come back. That's why double tops and double bottoms are such reliable patterns, because they just retest supply and demand. It's like, let's really see if there's an appetite at this level. There was previously. All right, prove it. Prove that there's an appetite. So there was a major appetite at 16K on Bitcoin. Prove it. Maybe we don't go to 16. Maybe we go back to 18. I don't know. Prove that there's demand there. Prove that that is the fair value of Bitcoin. A sustainable high time frame fair value. Prove it. I'm looking forward to proving it. I'll bid there. I'll for sure be bidding there.
Where's my question mark? Yeah.
It looks like spot selling today.
I don't know, man. We basically had three big Chad candles in this run up, and then we chopped, and then we went down. 1, 2. I don't see. I don't know. I don't know whether you call that a third or not, or if we're still waiting on the third. But these all did take us higher.
What if this second high is the equivalent to the second high that we had in the last consolidation? You just had your mouse over it.
Wait, which one?
The high that we had in, I'm gonna guess like February, like the second high that we put in there, right there. Like, what if this is that equivalent?
And we get some FUD that takes us down to like 26, and then it just turns around.
Yeah. What do you guys think about that?
I'm open to it because there's a lot of confluence up at 33 to 35K. I think that like you don't get a much more sound technical level with high time frame confluence than like 33 to 35. But my concern here in the short term is there's clearly an appetite on the ask side up here. And we might need more fuel. We might need more fuel to send us higher. Like if we could trap some short interest to the downside here, and then they get squeezed. That's basically what happened on the last one, Tommy, that you're talking about. Is the amount of people that were shorting 20K on the USDC FUD news, that wick, that gave us the fuel to squeeze up higher because then those shorts capitulated. So I think we need another like bear capitulation to send us to 35K. So that might entail a bunch of short open interest, basically opening sub 28K. And then from there, it gives us the bear fuel to move up. So
Yeah,
with
I
it.
think
Yeah.
bulls are running out of space to defend here, though. Admittedly, I think 30.1 needs to hold, or it's probably gonna you're gonna start seeing some of that downside.
Yeah, because like, dude, this looks the most similar to this, right? And then we just got a big old candle. But like these wicks were like 5% wicks to the downside. Like these are like 2. So we're really not taking the liquidity that we were back here up here. So we'll probably do it all in one can. We'll probably just do that or something.
How many? But let's see. We've had on the lower time frame, Tucker. If you go to like the daily, we've ran the liquidity to the top side numerous times now, and we haven't really run it to the downside yet.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's
Oh,
what I'm
okay.
saying.
I'm
Yeah,
saying on the lower time frame, we kind of have already accomplished what we like. We've trapped a lot of bulls playing a breakout up there.
yeah.
So if they start puking and there's still OI build up to the top side, a puke here could take us down 28.5, and then backfilling that inefficiency. Can you mark out that high on like June? It's like early June, Tucker, like a horizontal line, like a little early June. I'm sorry, early June, like June. Go to like June 1st.
June for this one.
Yeah, right there. Like that, I would be looking for like a deviation of that line and a reclaim, and I'd probably be looking to try to spec along there, truthfully.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that because like this was a bigger range, right? Like this was like I guess a 9% range. I think what are we in? I guess we're at like 7%. I don't know, but this I just like on the weekly, like these downside wicks were a lot bigger than these have been. Like this is kind of flipped,
My
right?
question to you, Tucker, would be: would you consider this on the daily time frame? Would you consider this vertical accumulation, though? Like if we continue to make higher lows and then continue to be predatory at the highs, you could make a case that it's vertical accumulation
Yeah,
potentially.
we do
Like
continue with the higher lows, I guess.
it's ugly, but technically market structure still intact.
Yeah. But see, I'd argue that's not a bull flag. You know what I
No,
mean? A
but
bull
if at the
flag is
lows, if you could draw instead of a like a line, if you could draw like a C,
that's a bull flag, you know.
that is a bull flag. If you could draw like a C shape on the lows there instead of a line,
Yeah,
we did see something like that on SPY and QQQ where it was kind of like coiling like a big C shape.
definitely did. Yeah.
Yeah, like something like that. Yeah, exactly. Like if that remains intact, then I think you get 35K.
You'd want to see us climb this though.
Yeah,
For
exactly.
sure.
Exactly.
Climb the
Like
wall of worry.
Yes, the wall of worry. Yeah. Yeah, like back here, once you got this green candle, it looked more like vertical accumulation because you're just like doing this and then you finally. This one's been more flat, I feel like, but we are getting the higher lows, so I don't know. I feel like they should wipe people and then go. Tough. What do we call this pattern?
Gross.
Gross.
Looks like a fruit. I'm just not sure which one.
No. Yeah.
Gosh, Bitcoin does not look good.
Huh?
Bitcoin does not look good. I wanted to take some altcoin scalp longs from like around this level, but I don't know.
Ooh.
Looks no bueno.
Are we gonna break this fun new range that we formed?
They gotta flush the shorts, man. I mean, at this point, look how long we've been. Look at the bleed into the lows.
Yeah. I know.
So what, you think 29.7 there, Tommy? We take out that wick from last week?
I think we're gonna squeeze shorts personally, but I don't know. Spot's selling and it looks droopy, so
So 30.6, 29.6, then 35K.
I'm thinking like 30.9 and then I don't know, maybe down. My never fade signal is bearish, as you guys know, so I'm paying
Yeah.
attention to that.
Guys,
Long's taken in mind.
I have to request again, guys, we're 2 likes shy of our range high of 20 likes. If you're enjoying the content, please consider giving the video a thumbs up. We got 25 people watching in the live audience. We got 18 likes. I know you guys can do it. Again, if you are enjoying the content, please consider giving the video a quick thumbs up. Just takes one moment. But I do like that value area high again, Tucker, and it goes back to what I started off the stream by saying of like, I would operate right now under the assumption that the range is not ready to break. And again, that could take us down to 29.5. It could take us up to 31.5, okay? But we're getting closer to the bid area. We're definitely closer to the bid area than the sell area. So I'd look at this and go, it probably makes sense, again, assuming that the range is not ready to break and we're not going to seriously lose value, to look for some longs, if we do take out that, the low. And if we get back to the value area high, I like Tommy's level of 30.9. It's about at that value area high, de-risk or maybe short. It would be interesting to see up before down. Like if we saw 30.9 and then a flush down sub 30K, that'd be very interesting. That would clean things up a lot.
Yeah, I would like that. I'd probably spec a short right there. But yeah,
guys, thank you for the likes. We got to 25 likes. Slice through the range high like warm butter. You guys are the best. So thank you guys for the support once again. What are we thinking about Ethereum here? What do you think about like ETH BTC here? So assuming Bitcoin does something like we're talking about, what does that mean for Ethereum? I think it makes sense to look at because the question is if Bitcoin is going to make that move finally up to 33 to 35K, is it an environment where you go and you chase beta, you play things on chain, maybe even just long something like Ethereum or Optimism or Solana or AVAX like we talked about? Or do you just stick with Bitcoin? So basically the question is, does Bitcoin dominance move up on whatever the next move is? And you want to just play Bitcoin, or is it an environment where you chase altcoins?
Good question.
I think you probably want to long Bitcoin. You know what I just realized, guys, that I hadn't before? Did we have a new moon over the weekend or a full moon over the weekend?
Pull it up, Tucker, and Silico moon cycles,
man.
Baby.
We did. And I missed it.
What's the Insilico? Insilico's got a nice moon one, doesn't
Do
he,
moon
Tommy?
cycles, or just type in moon and you'll find Insilico's indicator. Yeah.
There we go. Oh, baby.
Oh, man.
Tucker, look at the last one, man. No, go back to the low time frame that you just had. Go back. Look at the last, like, dark shaded moon where we were. Yep. Okay.
Oh.
But you know what? It does kind of look like an inverse fractal. Can you take a fractal of that low right there through the moon and then flip it? Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
You now flip that baby.
Boom.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh boy.
Over.
Oh boy.
It's over.
Oh. And we've got a weekly FEG down there as well. If you go to the weekly time frame, you'll see we got a weekly inefficiency right in there. Yep. Right in there. I don't know. I'm seeing a lot of conflicting setups here.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the fractal looks really good.
Can you go back to the left a little bit there, Tucker?
That's if I lined up the time of this, yeah.
Can you go back to the left, Tucker? Just ever so. Okay, so see right before you took the fractal, that little like yeah, right there. We had something like that too, like right there, exactly. Yeah, so you could take the fractal even further back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Wow, that's actually pretty pretty nutty. We could go from here
Looks
to here.
horrendous, man.
What's that, Tommy?
That looks horrendous.
Yeah, see what I'm talking about. I mean, it's pretty close.
Yeah,
Where's Marin, man? Get Marin on the stream.
close enough. Wow. I like it.
Tommy says spot's selling a little bit. I don't know about ETH, but on Bitcoin.
Wow, it looks like,
Pick one.
or Eve looks like trash.
As above, so below, gentlemen.
Yep.
I'm just
Dude.
curious if we squeeze before we dump because it looks kind of ogre from this standpoint.
Throw Shrek on the chart, man. It's ogre.
Looks kind of ogre. It's do some of that, yeah. Do some of this too. Ooh, wow.
Oh boy. That
Oh.
Haggard super sniper.
Is ooh. You're
It
short.
looks really there's a lot of sell pressure right now.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, so Tommy, your answer to my question was you think if this next long sets up, it's long Bitcoin, not alts?
I mean, I'm just not that optimistic in the look of ETH Bitcoin right now, but it is a Monday, so I want to be really careful with what I say.
Chad.
Absolute Chad.
Chad mode.
Tucker, can you pull up ETH BTC? We'll take a look at that pair quick.
Yeah.
It's a Monday, but it's not
Yeah,
what
it looks ugly, man.
I really thought we would get a squeeze, but we have not seen it so far.
Is anybody sitting in anything right now? Does anybody have any trades rolling?
Dude, what is this? This is disgusting.
Yeah, that's bad.
What's that? No, I don't.
That is disgusting, dude. That looks like the S&P.
Dude, yeah.
Oh,
Look at that. What is that?
The double Darth Maul.
Yeah. When was that? June 5th.
That was mean.
The S&P doing? Oh, what do you know? It's going up.
how are the small caps doing today, man? Yeah, look at that thing.
What do you know? It's going up.
This is IWM, right? No, this is QQQ. Yeah, okay.
Let's see if small caps. Yeah, dude, Russell looks good, man. Russell probably wants range highs, you know.
Man,
We're getting closer, but
the last full moon or whatever this is marked the top of the S&P.
Did it?
Yeah. The last two of them, actually. Interesting.
God, that chart is insane, man.
I know.
Probably
Give me the
don't
double top, baby.
Dude, it's so close.
It's gonna. What if it front runs the double top, man?
I'll cry. I want Nancy Pelosi's sell orders to get swept.
I wonder
She's
if
been
the
distributing already.
Where's like the weekly? Where to the top right here? Oh, we getting something?
Little div action.
Little div action. Yeah, I hate how it puts this stupid MA on it.
I don't like that, man. I do not like that at all.
Yeah.
Tucker, can you draw a range on the S&P, like a perfect range high, range low, mid range from all time high to the 2022 low?
From all time high.
Yeah, all time high to the most recent low.
Like a range, like just that.
Yeah, and then where's the mid range on that? You might have to take a fib out.
Yeah.
want to see where the 50 fib is there. Yeah, okay. I mean, I'd love to see us deviate the range high and then come back and deviate the range low sometime in 2024.
I mean, RSI looks, I mean, it's got room to keep going, like on the weekly. It's not even overheated yet. It's not even overbought on the weekly, which is insane. And it didn't even really get oversold. I mean, dude, that was such a such an obvious bull div. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hindsight's always 2020, man. It's
I know.
amazing how obvious some things seem on the chart in hindsight, where you're just like, how did I not see that at the time?
Yeah, man, 3,400 getting front ran by like 100 points was so obvious, man. Everyone wanted that level, myself included.
Yeah.
The more confusing part to me was, the chop around the mid level on the RSI at resistance, man. Like that with the DV, I mean, it looked like if you're trading the RSI like you're trading a chart, it looked like a sweep of the highs and ready to nuke. That was a pretty savage reversal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like yeah, like if none of this was here, I mean,
And they just melted it up.
and then they just said nope.
That
Wow.
was a dick move.
Even in the charts, I mean, it looked like it looked like that. We were just gonna go down, just but no.
Too easy.
What is that? March? Yeah, we've just gone straight up since March.
It almost looks like a QE type of chart, where it's like there's
We
just a
did get
constant
QE.
bid.
We did get QE. Like
Yeah.
the whole banking crisis changed everything.
Yeah. That was QE in a way. Because they intervened when things finally started to break.
Well, their balance sheet went up, so it was just there's no way around it, really.
Was it BTFP, right?
Yep.
And then when all the traders started saying BTFP is buy the fucking puts, that was the long signal.
Yeah, that was not the signal. Yeah.
And give a little break of structure. Little squeezy squeeze. Not asking for much.
On a decent pullback, I mean, if you got 4,400, then you kind of have to ask yourself, like, if we're assuming at this point we're going to get a double top or at least a sweep of the previous high, there's some pretty decent swing opportunities, just to try to play the second half of the year with like a higher time frame bullish bias that wouldn't require much maintenance. Like you could just literally go and purchase like SPY shares. Yeah, like coming back into that area, Tucker, like you could just go and buy, put a quarter of your portfolio into some SPY shares, no contango, no funding, no margin, no decay, you don't have to play options. And literally just try to play a move up to 48.22 or 4,900. That's a hell of a move right there. I mean, that's a serious move. I mean, you could make 15% on that. Or you start looking out for like Q1. You could play like some SPY 460s for Q1 of 2024 and not have to worry about it too much, if you have that bullish bias. What would you think about that, Tucker? Like if we got to pull back into that, let's just say 43.50. We got 43.50, 150 points back, give or take.
Yeah.
What do you think the best option to play would be? Just some SPY somethings.
If we came into here.
Yeah, let's just say let's mid-range of that level, Let's just somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, if we came into like here.
Yeah. And you just wanted to, and you said to yourself, all right, you know what? Let's just assume that happens in August, like first, second week of August. And you think that we're going to go make an all-time high by end of year. How are you approaching that from an options perspective? What are you looking at? Assuming we're at, let's just say 4,400.
I mean, if I were thinking that we were going to make a new high by end of year, then if I was just playing SPY, and we were at 44.80. I mean, probably buy like, I'd probably just, I'd maybe buy like if this was SPY and not SPX and we were at 438, 438, I would buy like probably 450s for like March, maybe. If I thought we were gonna maybe, yeah, not 450s. 4450s.
Why that
Or
why that close to the money though? Why not push it a little further out? If you're giving yourself till the end of Q1 2024, why would you keep it that tight?
uh I mean they would be deep in the money, but I would worry. Like if we start, I don't know that I would play options if we came back into here, honestly. Like I would maybe buy more shares of stuff because like there's no time constraint, but like I worry if we were to turn around like from this level, like I would worry that it would be over, honestly. And I would not want to buy options for here if we're going to like, I mean, we could easily go to 4,000 too. Like,
We never
you know,
really got a retest of that mid range. I mean, we had consolidation on top of it, but we never had that like flush out.
yeah.
People haven't said it's over in a long time. You know?
No, it's due. I mean, look at my background.
In the
Ooh, it's
midst of
crime.
it so over, we found that it was in fact actually so back.
Hang on, Tucker. Where was our absolute bottom of last year? What day did we bottom? What was the Pico low day?
October 13th.
So what? 2.5 months before the end of the year.
It was NFP Friday.
NFP Friday, 2.5 months out. So what's 2.5 months out from the end of this year? It would be
October 13th.
Yeah.
Right?
That was a silly question. Yeah, of course. It's the same day, right? What if we top on October 13th, the same day we bottomed?
That would be wild. Where is it? October 13th.
Yeah, like we put in like our Pico blow off top the same day we put in the capitulatory bottom.
That would be pretty sweet.
Do we have another like Fed event on that day or anything? A print, a CPI print maybe? I could see us. Let me see. Let me pull up the CPI schedule.
We'll probably have another NFP that day. Well, I guess it won't be Friday. It'll be the 12th. We'll have to roll it back. Or wait, no. Yeah. It'll be the 12th.
Okay, we've got October 12th. We've got CPI on October 12th.
Wow. It's over.
All right, just on principle, I'm going to mark this video down, man. October 12th comes around. Please be at 48.30. I want to be just above the previous all-time high for the CPI print on October 12th so that we can 366 days later.
Yeah. I'm locking that in.
Wow. Or I guess, yeah, 363 days later, 1 year after the bottom, we put in the top.
Yeah, dude, if we're anywhere like in here in this box on this day, you gotta buy some puts, man. You just have to.
If we're in that box by that green line before the October 12th CPI print, I'm gonna buy some January SPY 400s for 2025.
Oh, for 2025. That's
yeah.
That's a good. I
and
like
just
that.
diamond hand it all 2024.
Yeah. I like that.
Wouldn't that be epic, man? You know what? As above, so below, gentlemen. Why not?
I like it.
That's just such a crazy chart, man. I mean, it's like an index, so I know it's kind of supposed to look like that, but also, you know, if that were a crypto chart, like that's just insanity.
Yeah.
Crazy. We haven't, I mean, RSI looks like it can overextend still to me.
Yeah,
So
that's what I'm saying. It's just hanging out up here.
Guys, we got to 30 likes. We
Ooh.
well exceeded my goal. Thank you guys for helping us run the range highs of 20 likes and actually overshooting it by 50%. We got to 30 likes. And hey, if you're really enjoying this, if you're really enjoying the stream and you've already liked the video, consider subscribing as well. We run this show every single day at the same time. So we'd love for you guys to come back and watch every single day and come hang out. So yeah, if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so.
Yeah, man, RSI looks good on a lot of time frames. Only the daily is overheated a little bit. The weekly's not, the 2 weeks not, the monthly's not. Obviously, these probably aren't. Oh shit. 6 month is. Maybe the 6 month looks kind of bad. Does the 6 month look bad? Low
Kind of.
key. Low key.
Let's put in a little div there, man.
Let's get rid of all these damn ones.
See how in the between the .com crash and the housing crisis, we put in a major 6 month bear div right there, Tucker.
Yeah, big time.
So we made a higher high in price. RSI made a lower high. Maybe we do something like that again. I mean, that was a much more prolonged move, of course, but yeah, exactly. So, yep, yes, sir. That's the one.
I guess, was it a double top, like exactly?
No, we swept it. We swept it a little bit.
A little bit of a higher high.
Yeah, it was just a sweep, just a little baby.
Still a sweep. All right, maybe like that. Yeah.
5,000, right on the money.
Interesting how it is playing out significantly faster too.
I
So
know
much
that's
faster.
that's what we did with the fractal was we just smashed it down from I wish I still let me just do it real quick. It'll take 2 seconds. It's like this. Did we get the run up part too? Yeah, let's just do it fully. And then we smashed it.
Bring out the hammer, just smash it, man.
We smashed it down pretty much like
Oh man, that would be such a dream, man. I would love to see that.
yeah.
Prolonged bear market, mega range.
Yeah.
But
and then-
typically the stock market does that. Like I wrote a premium report on this on our website. Everybody go to www.becausebitcoin.com/premium and check out that report. But I wrote it. It was on the psychology of these bear market rallies or prolonged periods of consolidation in the equity markets. Where again, there's 5 examples throughout history going back decades where we've seen a major bear market, like we did in 2022, to basically the following year, 2, 3 years, some take longer than others, come back, actually make a new high ever so slightly, and then actually proceed following that to have a capitulation and actually take out the previous low that was set. If you go back to the 70s, there was another prime example of that as well. So again, this is not, yeah, there's the example right there for the .com crash in the 70s. We saw something very similar as well. Yeah, look at that.
I'd be very curious to know like what exactly it is from a positional standpoint that causes those just absolutely massive multi-year, decade-long almost megaphone type patterns. Like why the higher highs, the highs I get, I guess the lows are conceptually the exact same thing, right? You're just flushing long leverage out of the market each time until you agree that this is no longer acceptable fair value and start trending away. But yeah, I don't know. It's funny how equities is, you can tell looking at a chart like that how positionally driven the indexes are.
Certainly. I
It's
mean, I think
definitely- Go ahead.
I was gonna say from a psychological perspective, I mean, put yourself in the minds of, typically like a long only fund or just somebody that, manages a lot of money, maybe family office, somebody that's not like getting down in the weeds. If you held through 2022 through that 20% drawdown plus, you have something you have to prove, like you got to report back to your investor. You have to realize something. So I think given, again, some of the higher time frame economic developments that we've seen, I think what's probably going to take us down is, and by the way, again, typically, if you were to read my article, you'd see that most of these were, it was one event followed by another event, and it just timed out perfectly with like a double top. So like back during the .com crash, perfect example. We had the internet .com crash, in the early 2000s. We climbed back up to all-time highs, and then we have predatory lending and single family bust, right at the previous all-time high. So I think we'll look back on this next potential double top and say, okay, like 2022 was the most aggressive rate tightening cycle, fighting potential hyperinflation, that had us draw down in 2022. The next thing that I think is finally going to cause us to topple, I assume it would just be like unemployment, or like the rate hikes finally actually like working their way through the plumbing of our economy. So we'd see unemployment tick up, we'd see the yield curve disinvert, and maybe even we'd have a catalyst towards the all-time high of, oh man, we overshot, we have deflation, we've over tightened. The rate hikes from 2022 were a little bit too much. We shouldn't have done as many 75 basis point hikes. So again, anything could cause that next catalyst. Of course, the one in 22 was obvious. They're going to hike interest rates faster than they ever have. So we'll see. You gotta. Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, you gotta keep it in log, but yeah, I'm not convinced from what I've seen that like this is going to be just like a new all-time high and then forget it. And I think it would also line up nicely with like the 2024 election, where we're pretty close to an all-time high as we get close to the election. And then after that, maybe a little reset, something like that.
I mean, dude, there's definitely these periods where investors just lose. Like for 10 years, like if you bought 90 in 1966, you didn't get above water consistently until like the mid 70s. And kind
Yeah.
of the same here. Like
I'm expecting something like that. I don't know. I mean, this is happening a lot quicker than the previous ones, but I'm expecting that. I'm not expecting investors to win or just like have a freebie for, I mean, from basically from 2021, at least half of a decade. So like the middle of this current decade, at least.
yeah, there's just these periods where it's good to be a trader, right? And like over the long term, clearly investing is the move because it just goes straight up and to the right over time. But there are small windows where us traders can win. And
Well,
this
we
is
Yeah.
talk
one of
about
them.
this, right? It's like ultimately a game of time frames. You know, investors will win over a 30-year period. Traders can win over a 9 or 10-year period, and more granularly, you can continue to break it down into things like that. But for me, I think it pays to have you know, investments with a trader's mentality.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm 27 years old. I have, in my lifetime, I haven't really had that much of an opportunity to accumulate a long-term portfolio. But as I get older, it's something that I would like to be a participant in. And I'm always going to be an active trader, very active. But I'd like to be able to set a portion of my liquidity aside in a long-term bag, knowing that, I mean, more or less, this thing is programmed to go up over a multi-decade period of time. And I would like to have the opportunity to scoop up assets that I believe are trading at closer to a fair value. I still don't look at anything out there and think that it's trading at a cheap multiple. Not even close. But if we had something like this, which again, historically, we have seen these periods of rapid expansion that end up being predatory just to basically contract the other way, and take out the other side of a long range where the investor, quote unquote, loses. I mean, I'll tell you, I'll be scooping up everything. If we get back down, towards range low here and do something like that, Tucker, that you have drawn, absolutely, man. Absolutely. And by the way, this goes even in more recent years, between 2017 or 2018 and 2020, we had another one of those periods. It was very quick, but there's another broadening wedge or broadening channel, Tucker, between 2018 and then the COVID crash. So it's not uncommon to
Yeah.
see these highs taken out just for the low to be taken out. Exactly. Exactly. And that one happened very quickly. But being a trader here, there's periods of intense volatility. followed by expansion. So I'd say like for the long term, if history's any indication, another move like this where we go to 5,000 and then to 3,350. Again, looking left at the chart, I would imagine a period of extreme FOMO and expansion will proceed. So I'd love to just DCA into some companies and just set them and forget them. So
Yeah.
Our boy Lucid is on the move today, fellas.
woo.
Nice little 90-minute chatter.
Yeah, that's nice.
You go take that gap.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we are coming into time here. We've been going for about 75 minutes, so let's say I say let's wrap us up here, Tommy. If you wanna close this out, my man, let's do it.
Sure. For sure, guys. Make sure y'all stay safe. Obviously a little bit of red to start the week. Never know what the rest of the week is going to hold, whether or not that is shorts getting squeezed or longs potentially losing range lows here. I imagine one of those events is not going to be fun for people, so just protect yourself, right? Stay safe trading and enjoy yourselves at the same time. Yeah, no, guys, thanks so much for tuning in. We appreciate you guys for being here on your Monday morning, spending it with us, breaking down charts, breaking down markets. We will be back doing the exact same thing tomorrow. As at the exact same time as I believe at the same time, or as I'm thinking of Thursday.
Yeah, no, about 10:30, 10:40 Eastern time. Actually, we might have a space tomorrow, so if not tomorrow, we'll let you guys know on a new time. But normally exact same time.
Cool. Yeah, we will communicate, like Max said, through some of our channels if plans change. But yeah, guys, we hope you have enjoyed the programming. And if you really enjoyed the programming, beyond just liking and subscribing, we do have some premium content linked in the description of this YouTube, as well as the link tree of our Twitter bio. So make sure to check that out if that's something that interests you. But once again, thanks again for being here, guys. And we'll be back tomorrow. Have a great rest of your Monday. And thanks again.